Okay, good afternoon. This is the repurposing old Christmas card class. So everyone have a lot of old Christmas cards. So go without saying, you rip out your cards so you don't want your other friend to see what other friends said to you. So I've given you, or in your bag, there's different cards that you collected over the years. They are different. Also, I've given you 2 sheets of these, or 3 sheets of these 8.5 by 11. So before the end of the class today, we will do a card like this, okay? Now, even when you do a card like this, you're gonna say, what am I gonna put on it? You have to find your material within the stash that you've got. And that sometimes it might be a little bit of a challenge, okay? It really depends on what you've got on your hand. So I'm just gonna go over something to give you ideas when you work with your own private stash of cards. I don't know about you, but I've got tons of these name labels, you know, like the, what is it? The Canadian Amputee Foundation.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Kidney Foundation, whatever, right?
Yep, I have a whole bunch.
Exactly, tons of it. You know, I don't think I can ever finish in my lifetime. I was gonna trash them until I say, wait a minute, this is ready stickers.
Yep.
So what you can do is you can literally cut a line out. Of course, you don't want to put your name on it.
Of course.
And use these as little stickers. So this is one of those things that is not totally wasted and that is ready sticker. So I kind of like that. That's just a suggestion. And if I see this card, like what would you do with a card like this? Can you see? Can you see? How come it's so fuzzy? Is my camera fuzzy?
A little bit.
Okay, let me adjust my camera. I thought my eyes are fuzzy. I'm getting old, but it's fuzzy. Okay, so there's 2 ways of it. This is a little bit like scrapbooking. You can see. How come the camera is so fuzzy?
Goody.
Are you guys seeing everything fuzzy? But this one is not fuzzy though. This one is clear. Huh. So this is a little bit like, if you recall, like scrapbooking, you can cut the picture right up against the edge and use it. But I always think everything looks nicer with a frame. So I would have a tendency to cut it, to include this frame and cut it around. But then here, this is the tricky part, okay? So I'll get back to the tricky part later. So you have something like this. Again, you can have a border and you will mount it with a different color, maybe a dark blue, okay? And you can mount it as part of your card. Sometimes you have writing, and I think I try to give everyone a piece of writing of something. So what I'm trying to say is I would actually cut out the writing and put it in somewhere on the card, but not like line up exactly. Like if you just use this card, it's really boring. There's nothing to do. You just stick it on another piece of paper and mount it. So I would not do that. If this is what I'm working with, I'll cut it out, the frame, and then I'll move the wording away from it. Either put it inside the card or frame it again. Okay, I love framing. I know. Now we have something like this. This is almost like a ready picture anyways. This one, I would use it entirely. I might make it smaller. And I can't think of anything much to do. Now you have a bling bling. You have, some of you have these like rhinestone, I call it. You can stick rhinestones on these spots. So that is upcycling it, okay? So you can think of anything that you can, you can do quite a few things with it, okay? I can put a rhinestone right underneath it, even though I cut it off, okay? And again, you get a different look. So something very simple, you can do that. Now with something like this, I actually love this picture. I kept some of these pictures from many years back. And what I actually wanted to do and never got around to do it is to do a collage. You know what a collage is? A collage just means a collection of pictures or images. And I want to mount it in a photo frame and make it a full picture. Like you can buy a 17 by 20 frame, and it's a Christmas frame. So I save these. In my thinking is the theme color is blue. So, you know, you can do it like that. Or you can have, there are tons of wise men, right? I can lift this picture up. I can just cut it off. Now this time, if I do my collage, I actually would cut it off so that it has just a picture without the frame. And then I can have a collection of the 3 wise men and do a collage that way. So it really depends on what you have, okay? There are a lot of nativity scene. I gave them all away, so I can't show you. But there's the Mother Mary with the Virgin Child. And if you have 4 or 5 of those, you can put them together in some sort of arrangement. Well, you have to arrange it. And then you can have a full picture, and it's a nativity scene picture, okay? So this is where the fluidity of using old Christmas card is really up to you, okay? I want to show you this, and I'm going to get a pair of scissors and show you one set. And this is a very small technique, but it's called fussy cutting, okay? And for people who do scrapbooking, they will understand immediately what fussy cutting is. I want to cut this image close around the line, and you can see that there is no defining images. It's a fuzzy image. So how do you cut it? When we cut with scissors, we just go along and we go along like that, right? But fussy cutting, the unique part about fussy cutting is you turn the paper, but not, you move the paper, but not your scissors. Okay, I'm gonna demonstrate by this, okay? Now, before I do it, I want to salvage something. So I have a card like this, and that's not very useful. But what I'm trying to harvest from is, I want the paper, okay? This is a nice piece of, it's a nice color paper, okay, for me. So I take the card and I cut it out, and I might put something Christmassy here and mount it on a card, okay? And it becomes a card, okay? So sometimes even with no images, if it has nice color and is unblemished, you can keep it. So for example, like this card, if I start cutting into it right away, I want to save this part for something else later. I want that piece of yellow. So I'm just saving this, okay? So fussy cutting is, so when you get to the image, you know, go along here. Is you move the paper, but not the scissors. So you twist your paper according to the outline. And that's a technique called fussy cutting, okay? Preferably the scissors is very small and it's very sharp. It's because you have to twist and turn, okay? And you line it up so that it's not totally against the outline. You leave a little bit of room so that it has like a little bit of a shade by the time you finish cutting, okay? You can see I'm just turning my image, turning the paper. So this is a very small thing, but fussy cutting applies to a lot of things in the world of scrapbooking. You have a little bit of an outline, very tiny, but you never cut right to the line so that when it's done, the image retains that fuzziness. Okay, now you get the idea, right? So some images that you try to harvest from the Christmas card, you might want to use fussy cutting. It depends on the image, okay? Of course, straight line, you don't need fussy cutting, but it's more like you want to lift an image off that is not defined. you use fussy cutting. Okay. And so these are two little bears. And this is not even that intricate. Some fussy cutting gets to very, very tiny spaces where you literally need to twist and turn because there's a lot of irregular edges. So you will find that cutting like this is easier than trying to move your scissors and dig into the corners. It's by moving the image and let the blade cut it, okay? So this is not a perfect example of a fussy cutting, but I just want to show you and you get the idea what fussy cutting is. It's fundamentally moving the images, moving the image on your hand instead of moving the blade. And you can go really deeper into some corners, into some small parts. Okay, so this is just a demo for fussy cutting. Okay. Okay, so having said all that, I'm gonna show you. Okay, so see, this is another image I lifted out. Something like that, you probably need. See, I keep this piece of paper again. I keep it, and it might become part of your card. Okay, you might be, and this is something that I would like. I probably would leave it with a border. Things always look better with a border. If I were to do this card, I would take it like this, put it on here, and I'm thinking the creative part is to have a piece of yellow paper on top. Do I have not enough big yellow? I need a piece of yellow paper on top and put it there and cut that crescent so that the halo would be under yellow. So really, repurposing Christmas card is very easy. It's just, you know, you make use of what you have and it will look nice. So in this case, you would just trim a little off because it's a little too wide. So they can fit on the paper that you got. And there we go. Right? So that's one way. A picture like this probably doesn't take much repurposing. You can put 2 or 3 pieces of paper of different color behind this, and then you cut around it. For example, you can do this. You can. And this is not, of course, nothing is exact. This is art. You don't like it, you don't like it, okay? I can do it like that. I can put it in the middle, and then I have a blue line, and I cut around it, and I slip another piece of paper, a dark blue line, okay, and then cut it so that you have 2 or 3 lines just for the top because it has a very interesting top. So I want to capture the top and have a couple of different lines. That's what. So it really depends on what you. If you don't have this picture, then you know. But you can have different picture with different outlines. The most boring kind of picture are these pictures, okay? Because I really don't know what to do with it. But a picture like this, what I can do is, I don't want the picture, I sacrifice it, I harvest the frame. So what you do is you cut it out and you use the frame. Okay, so if those of you have a cutter, it's much easier. If you don't have a cutter, you take a scissors and you cut out the middle. So I use the frame. You can use the frame on something else. And it again depends on what you have. I don't think this looks very good. Does it look good? No, because the color is too much the same. This one already have a frame and it doesn't, does it work? Somewhat, but then it's no different. It's just frame on frame. Okay, but if you have a very different, okay, let's try this frame. This picture has no frame. I can use this and frame it. I can cut out the rest and this become a frame picture. Okay, so what I'm trying to say that even frames are useful. Okay, you don't like the image, you take out the image and use the frame. Okay, so this is many ways of harvesting an image. Okay, another way is, I think I showed it to you before. Okay, I like to, okay, I'll do this. This is one of the techniques. Okay, if you have a picture like this, okay, let me make it down into a picture. So I'll cut it off. Oops. I'll cut out the picture first. And it really depends on what you have on your hand, okay? So what I've shown you so far, maybe nothing applies. Maybe it applies to everything because you have all this kind of images you think you can work with. So this is really your creativity at work. I cannot tell you exactly what to do. So this picture is rather boring. Turn the picture around. Ruler. And draw 1/4 inch lines. Okay. I find my pencil, my one single pencil that I got from boating. So I'm going to do a 1/4 inch. Okay. Oh, no, 1/4 inch is too long. I'm going to do 1/2 inch. You sit here forever watching me. So do 1/2 inch. So I mark off the picture at 1/2 inch. You draw your lines. I'm showing you this because you don't have a cutter, but if you have a cutter, you don't need to do this. So you do all your lines, and basically I'm telling you to cut the whole picture into 1/2 inch strip, okay? So I'm gonna go do this. This is not fair, I know. Now make sure you put them together, otherwise you have a jigsaw puzzle on your hands. And you can do a jigsaw puzzle if you like, as long as you can put your picture back together. Oops. Okay, let me try using this paper. It's my background. And you put spaces, you put a slight, almost like 1/8 inch gap between each slice.
We cannot see what you're doing, Elaine.
Oh, okay, hang on. Okay. I'm putting back the picture together, but it has slits in between. Let me face it myself and then I'll show you the finished product. And of course you glue it down. This is just a different perspective, oops, of the same picture. Okay, is to have a slit in between. We use this technique when our picture is not big enough and we have a bigger canvas, so you stretch it. And it's actually quite nice. You can do them in 2x2 squares or something like that and put them with, the point is that there's space between everything, but you still see the whole picture. Okay, now if you cut it, if you can imagine this, like, if you cut it off, okay, that's a different picture. Need a piece of paper. Okay. So yeah, you can do that with a lot of images. A small picture, you cut it and you put it back together with gaps, okay? You can make it into, for example, a picture like this, what you can do, you can measure it, divide it into squares, okay? And then put them back together and you get a different look, okay? Just like this gives you a different look, okay? Instead of that whole picture originally just by itself, okay? So these are just techniques of what you can do. I've done before like a frame like this and you put it in there. Okay, this would, okay, for example, like this. This is exactly what I want. But you need to have space. You need to have the gap. Otherwise, it's no point. So you need to have those gaps in between. Okay, so that people can see that it slices a picture instead of, it's not your whole picture by itself. Okay. So again, it's art. You don't have to like it. If you don't like it, you won't do it. But you think this is a neat one. So it depends on the picture that you find, okay? And see, I can even frame it back, okay? And that would be another way to use your old Christmas cards, okay? A picture like this is actually quite perfect. I can do it like this. You can do slants like that. Like if you have a star image, what I would do is, so you try on the back, okay? Don't mess up your nice picture. Is to do something like this. To do like, okay, so you want it like this, so, and you cut it, okay? You do it like that, so there are many ways of cutting that picture, but you still retain the whole picture. Okay. Can you see the pencil? If you can, I'll use a black pen. Can you see this? Can you see what I did? The slants? Okay. Okay, I'll do it again. So you can cut that picture like that. Okay, so you go like that and then you cut it. Okay, I'll use scissors. And what looks good and not, it really depends on your picture, okay? Some pictures might not work at all. So, but since it's all Christmas card, well, you're not gonna cry if it doesn't work, right? You just pick another card. Okay, let's see how this looks like. I don't know, I haven't seen it. Turn it up. I have to flip them all back up. Okay. I know the picture. Oh, shoot, what did I do? Oh, I know what I did. I did them totally upside down.
I think for everyone, because Elaine is demonstrating a few techniques, if there's any particular technique that you want her to repeat because you really enjoy that one, just let us know and she can repeat that again because it's hard to remember so many.
All right, where's my first piece? I think I missed a piece.
It looks complete.
Hey, what happened to my piece?
Underneath, lift up your paper.
Ah, you're right.
I can see through the paper. You didn't know that?
Thank you. Okay, see, okay. Now you have to do it neatly, right? I mean, this is a really quick job, but especially a lot of Christmas cards, I noticed they do the light like that. So if you kind of follow that, it's a very, how should I say it? It's almost intuitive. When you see light, you think of that. So I cut it like that, right? And maybe some images does not work. I think this one actually works, okay? And you can leave it a little bit staggered, okay? And that becomes a design, okay? So these are just thoughts, okay? And of course you mount it on straight, okay? So the idea is that you take an image and it does not have to be boring. You can make it into something interesting. Like I said, I can cut this. I find this picture, it was okay, but I thought, it's a little boring. So I would cut it into like, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares or rectangle, and then do the same idea to have gaps in between and do that, okay? So I think this is enough. I've shown you enough in terms of what you can do with a solid picture that you don't particularly love, but you can harvest the frame. You can redo the picture by slicing it, okay? This is what they call a slicing technique, okay? And you can slice them in various ways. If you're really into intricate work, the worst part, I mean, not the worst, the hardest thing is to cut them into diamonds, okay? Diamonds and put them in diamonds with gap in between. I've seen images, for example, like this. I would cut it into diamonds and I put a solid color in between every other one. So you don't get the full image. It will not come out like that. It will look different. But okay, do you understand what I'm trying to say? Okay, let me just show you on paper like this, and then you will get what I'm saying.
I have a question for you, Elaine.
Yeah.
If we don't have a cutter, how do you cut out the frame? Is there a good technique to do that?
Well, no, there's no good technique. Just take a sharp piece of scissors or something and poke through it and don't go around it. Okay. Without a cutter.
There's no other, yeah.
There's no other way. Yeah, there's no other way. I mean, and without a cutter, it would not be as nice either, right? With a cutter, I can even harvest it up to 1/4 of an inch, but without a cutter, it's very hard. Right?
Maybe a box cutter.
A what cutter?
A box cutter. Yeah.
Yes, you can, but a box cutter, you have to be able to hold it down and slice it. So wash your fingers, okay? Wash your fingers, okay? I want to show you, for example, like this card is one of those, is what I just did is perfect. I actually, you see these cards have lines. I actually would slice them all up. I would cut, and spread it out, okay? Because I want to capture that part. Okay, but only if you have a card like that. If you don't, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it, right? Okay, I'm watching my time, 1:30. I want to show you this card, okay? Let me show you this so you can have something you can walk away with today. And you don't have to worry about the design just yet, but I just want to show you the construction of this card.
Elaine, are they doing with you or are they just watching?
No, they can do this card now. They can do this card now. Is to take an 8.5 by 11 paper, please, and cut it into half lengthwise. So it would be 5.25, 8.5 by 11. No. It'd be 5.25 across. Okay. So take a paper and cut it into half lengthwise. Okay. Be 5.25.
So you want everybody to follow you to do this?
Yeah, this one you can follow. Okay. Is it 5.5? 8.5. Oh, sorry, 4.25. Not 5.25. 4.25. Because I realized this is so thick. So make a card like that. Because this is the size of this card. Okay. So it's the top is 4.25. Okay. Here's my pencil. May, can you see my pencil?
No.
My desk is a mess.
You know, you should remove those cards that you're not using anymore. Elaine, just take a minute to clear out your table.
Okay, where is my pencil? Good. I lost my one and only pencil. I was playing with it 2 minutes ago. Oh well. Use a pen. Okay, once you have done this, okay, is to make a mark at half of 11, which is 5.5. You're gonna just fold this card into half. So 5.5. Okay, I just make a very tiny mark. Don't think you can see it, but you can see it on yourself. And here it is, okay? A quick way is to push up the card against the ruler and fold it. Or take a paper folder, and this is scoring now, okay? Scoring is to push it in so that you have a fold line, so that when you fold it, it's neater and it actually folds nicely. And it's half, okay? So when you fold it, make sure you line it up here too. And the score line will help you, okay? So there it is, okay, half. And then this is the part that you take half of this. So this is a 5.5. So half of that is, oh dear, 2.25. 2.25 is your line. So I make a mark at 2. Wait, hang on. Let me do my measuring too. Yep, it is 2. Oh, 2.75. Pardon me, 2.75. So 2.75. Make a mark, which is half of this. Okay, 2.75. 2.75. Okay. Just take up the top sheet. Don't put it, and flip this back. Okay. So basically half and half. You want this card to go back. Okay, half of it. You can push it back. Okay. Now you have a card like this. Okay. Open up and you have half like that. Okay. Now with your other half of the 8.5 by 11, you cut yourself a strip that is 9 inches long. Okay, 9 inches long by 3.5 inches wide. Okay, so you can get that out of the half of that paper. You don't need to start a new paper, new piece of paper. You have it on your hand already. Okay. I have to because my other half has been cut. So you want this 3.5 inches long. So I'm going to cut at 3.5 inches. So this is 3.5 inches. And the length is 9 inches. Okay. Have one like that. Okay. And for this one, 9 inches, you're going to score at, meaning you fold at 3.5 and 6.25. Okay. You're going to fold the small one here, 3.5, 6.25. So put your ruler down, make a mark at 3.5, 6.25. Okay. Three and a half, 6.25. Okay. So I made my mark. Again, I put my paper on here and lift this up. Just do 2 fold line, and then here. Okay, so this is 3.5 here, and then 6.25. Okay, but this one here though, this is what they call the mountain. Mountain, it means this is a mountain, and this is a valley. Okay, it's a dip. Okay, so you have something like that, a mountain and a valley. This is facing you, okay? 3.5, 6.25. Okay, the full length is 9 inches. Okay, you will have something like this. You would do it like that. Okay. This is your second piece. And it is actually quite simple. Okay, are we all here yet? Okay, are you done with this piece? The mountain and the valley? Now this is all facing you now, okay? So this is the original card, the front flap back. And this one is the second piece. This is smaller, okay, shorter, you can tell it's shorter, okay? Okay, this one goes on top of this one, and you just line it up basically. You move it until you can see that it's even. Okay, you move it to the middle, you sandwich it, you see you have about even length on both sides, even on top of bottom. You hold your hand on here, you can go like that, right? Now, if you're happy with this, then apply glue on the bottom side of this, and so that it will stick on. So I'm just gonna go use the glue stick. If you have adhesive tape, go ahead. But I'm just gonna use the glue stick to show you that it's doable. Okay, so before you glue, you can use a pencil actually and mark it somewhere so that you know exactly where to put it down. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna, okay. Now, sorry, one more thing. Sorry, ladies. No, don't glue it. Don't glue it yet. I forgot to tell you. You need to mount a piece of paper in here, okay, to give you a background. So I got some paper for you. I don't know, everyone has different paper. Like for example, you know, so you have to cut a piece out to mount it on here. So, so this is the size. The size of this is 5.5 by 4.25. So I'm gonna cut a 1/4 inch on each side. So you want a piece of 4 by 5.25, okay? Because you want it to have a frame, okay? So on this one, you want it 5.25. I'm gonna write it down. 5.25. And on here is 4 inches. Okay, can you see that now? So here you cut a piece of color pattern paper that is 5.25 long and 4 inches this way. Okay, and it would be similar, it would be something like this. This is the black sheet of paper that's like that. Okay, 5.25 by 4 inches. Okay, so you have an 1/8 of an inch frame. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna cut.
Okay, Elaine.
Yeah.
I hate to do this, but you know, the piece that you made after the piece that's showing there. Did
one?
you? Yeah, that piece.
Yeah.
Did you cut some off of it to make it like it was 4.25 by?
Oh,
by,
this one here. This one.
Yes.
This one is 3.5.
Oh, 3.5. Okay.
Yeah, 3.5. It's
3.5
by 9.
by 9. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And
Yes.
then that's when you measured 3.5. Okay. And then the 9, then you did by 6.25. Oh, I see the
Yes.
9.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
I get it.
yes,
I
yes,
get
yes.
it.
Yeah. And yeah, sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. No, I missed that part.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, so this second piece is only 3.5 by 9. And the scoring part is 3.5, 6.25. So this line is 3.5. This line is 6.25 from the edge.
Okay.
And then you do, after you mark that off, you still fold it, but the folding is mountain and valley. Okay.
Mountain and valley.
Mountain and
Okay.
valley. Yeah, so that it would go together like that, mountain and valley. Because if you reverse it, you know it won't work. Then you will have to do it. Okay. Now, sorry, yeah, I did not. Okay, so let me finish this, and I'm gonna cut a piece that's 5.25 by 4 inches. Okay.
You still have lots of time, Elaine. You don't have to rush.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, it's 1:30, right? 2:30, right?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I'm always
Give them
always
time, give them time to catch up with you.
Okay. Yeah. 5.25 by 4 inches. I'm gonna put a 4 inches out. Yes, I have to say. So there it is. There. Yay. Haven't made any mistakes yet. And then 5.5 by, okay, you do the same. You need to frame this part. So this sheet is 2.75 by 4¼ So again, it would be 4. So I just cut off a 1/4 inch because wherever I cut off a 1/4 inch, I know that I'll have 1/8 and 1/8 on each side, right? So you just make this piece now, the lining, I call it, well, not the lining, what do you call it? Is 4 inches by 2½ Okay, so I'm going to use the same piece, 4 inches by 2½ Okay, where's my 4 inches? 2½. 2½ Am I right? Did I? 2½, yes. 2½ by 4 inches. So even if you don't remember the measurement, it's okay. Just go measure your paper and subtract half an as a 1/4 inch. Then you will have an 1/8 and 1/8, right? So you don't need to memorize anything. You just work with it. So here, see if I put it on, there we go. I have this, okay? So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and glue it down. And the reason why I don't need to frame this, because this is, as you can see, is on the underside. You don't need to waste paper, that's all, okay? But of course, it's up to you. If you want to frame the whole thing, I mean, to mat the whole thing, nobody's gonna stop you. But I'm always frugal. Even though I have 3 million pieces of paper, I still try to save paper. I don't know why. So I'm just using glue stick, okay? I'm just using glue stick. The reason I can use glue stick, honestly, is because Christmas card is thick, okay? I explained earlier, I mean, in much earlier session, I don't like glue stick, I don't like wet glue, it's because of the water content that makes your paper buckle and go like wrinkly, which is not very nice. But when it comes to thick cards like this, well, they can take that wetness or the moisture in the glue and it won't buckle. So I can use glue stick. You know what? I just realized something myself. Okay, so this is the bit that I'm gonna redo this. The reason is you want the paper to line up. So I cut it the wrong orientation. So I have to trash this piece of paper. I want it so that it would line up like so, like the same orientation instead of going sideways, okay? So these are the details you need to take, like you need to pay attention to. So I'm gonna recut this. So it's 2 inches by 4. Okay, so it's 2 by 4, but I need the orientation like this. Okay, 2 by 4. Oh, shoot. It's not 2. What did I do?
3/4.
Oh, 2½. Oh, dang. Waste more paper. Okay, 2½. 2½. Okay. Sorry. I trust you're not as thick as I am. I always do that. I always forgot, and then I go, oh no, this looks terrible. Why does it look terrible? Because it's the wrong orientation. It'd be a lot easier if it's just plain paper. 4 inches. So make sure I don't cut it wrong. So the same applies to carpentry, right? Measure twice, cut once. There we go. There we go. Okay, now it's decent. Okay. Okay, there we go. Good. I got that one down. Now this one, this paper here, if you can find it, oops, try to show you this. So when you have it now, then I'm trying to tell you, this is actually easier to see. You can move it in and out, show that, okay, I want it similar, not similar, like equal, okay, a little bit, basically put this on this, but you know that it's sandwiched in between, okay? So you're gonna stick it on this side and stick the bottom on that side, and it allows you to move like that, okay? And it, actually, you can bring it out, like it should be able to stretch all the way out. It shouldn't tug at you, okay? So when you're happy with the placement, now is the time to put glue on this side here and this side here so that it will stick down, okay? And, but, there's always all these buts. You might want to finish decorating them before you glue it, okay? It's easier. So with this paper, you want to find something that would stand out against this background. So for me, I would use, I've got something here. I don't know, is this too bright? Wow, this is really bright. And this paper is super thick too. Okay. So what you should do is, because you have 3 frames, and it turned out this one that you can actually, if you like, you want to do your writing in the middle, because it's most private. Close it, nobody see your writing, okay? But it doesn't stop you if you write here. It's just that then your writing would stick out a little bit. It might not be as nice, okay? So I will use the middle panel as the one for your writing. Merry Christmas, write a personal message, whatever, okay? Because these 2 sides are exposed, okay? So, yeah. So I'm gonna cut another 2 squares to put on either side of this. I really don't like this paper. This is too bright and it's too thick. Let me go get something I have. Okay, I'm gonna use this. So the same principle applies. I will measure this and do a 1/4 inch subtraction. So this is a 2 and 3/4. It'll be a 2.5 by 2 3/4. 2.5 by 2 3/4. 2.5 by 2 3/4. Do I have 2 3/4? Yep. 2.5 by 2 3/4. 2 3/4, yes. 2 3/4. I always worry about myself because I've cut so many things wrong in the past that just kick myself. 2 and yeah, oh, it's 3.5. Oh, good grief. Good thing it's not 2 3/4. It's 3 1/4. Hiya. Almost 3 1/4. 3 1/4. Is it 3 1/4? So there's this 2.5 by 3 1/4. Okay, so another framing. Okay. So I know I've given each one of you different paper. I hope you find something that coordinate well. And so in my case, because of the paper, I know it goes with the burgundy. And so it's actually quite easy that way, but. So this one, because I'm gonna write in the middle here, I might want to pick a lighter color instead of dark burgundy. Let me finish this side first. Let me do the framing on this side so that I can get it through. So 3.5 is 3 1/4 by, what is it, a square? This is 3.5 by 3.5. Oh yeah, it is a square. So it's 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Oh wow, I lucked out. 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. 3 1/4. You know, I started scrapbooking only about in 2008. And somebody said to me back then, you should do some crafts. You'll keep your mind active. And then dementia will slow down. I laugh. I know why now. Because when I'm doing scrapping, I'm constantly muttering to myself with these measurements. I try to remember the measurement, and then I'll be walking around going 3.5, 3 1/4, 3.5, 3/4. And there's a lot of mathematics that goes in your head when you divide, when you calculate, when you do this and that. So it does help to keep the mind at least a little bit more agile than if you don't do crafts. And I think people who do knitting and stuff like that would tell you the same. They're constantly counting stitches, subtracting stitches, expanding, like all those. You might think, it's simple math, but it's good for the brain, especially at our age. So I do encourage you guys to do craft. It's not only fun, it's good for your mind. And when I do crafts, I feel happy. I do momentarily forget if I have anything that I worry about. So there you go. Here you go. There. See. Now if I mount it, then I probably still would not stick this down just yet, okay? The idea is that to finish decorating the whole of it, because it is actually much harder to do things when everything is stuck together, okay? So I will encourage you to finish decorating it. And this is where you get your Christmas card, and you might have some of you, because I gave them away, have very small pictures and you think they're not very useful. But here is the time to put those small pictures on there and maybe try some of the techniques I shared earlier. Now, does this work? Oh my goodness. This might just work. Okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it in front of you. If it's ugly, you can laugh at it. Okay, I'm gonna cut this picture here, and because the red and blue actually show off quite well. So this is, now I'm not gonna put another border because this is already bordered. So this is 2.5 by 3 1/4. Okay, so I'm gonna do it exactly. 2.5 by 3 1/4. Let's see. 2.5. And so one way you show if you have if you have a cutter, okay? You can see on here 2.5 where it is. So you just move your picture within that frame, okay? And then you can see where your picture is going to be. So if you don't have a cutter, you put your ruler on it and you move it to 2.5, okay? And you can see where you need to cut off. And so here in a case is like this, you look at it and you say, okay, if I cut it off here, 2.5, where would the picture be? Okay, so you move it down and you can tell 2.5 is from here to here. Do I need to move it further in? Like in this case, yeah, I think I want to start in the middle So I just gonna, so you know you're gonna cut here and you're gonna cut here. So, okay, so this is the kind of thing that you have different ways that you help you to line up the thing, okay, even without a cutter. So you can make a mark here, make a mark here, and then you take your scissors and cut it, okay? So I have the advantage of the cutter. I can still do that 2.5. I go, okay, 2.5 is here and here. I'm gonna cut the picture right here. 2.5, 2.5. Oh, goody. Okay, I just have to slice up about 1/8. Oh, I guess not. I guess I still need a brim because it would look nicer with the edge. Okay. No, I still want a perimeter because otherwise why bother using that color? There. Okay, very narrow perimeter. I'll make it bigger. It's okay when the picture is too big, you can keep slicing it. But when it's too small, then there's not much you can do about it. Still cut more. There we go. Okay, put that down. May, this card is coming to you as my Christmas card to you. Okay, there we go. Can I put this here? Does it work? Nah. But then when I open this, nothing. Nope. Can't do it. You have to find something now. I have to find something that is a whole picture to put on here. And that might be a little tricky because we're talking about using old Christmas card. You don't have a second image that's identical. In some cases, if it's a picture like this, for instance, okay, this is a big picture, okay, what you can do, and this one doesn't work, what you can do is you can harvest part of it in a case like this, because you kind of know, okay, I need two little pictures, right? So can I take two parts of the same card and cut it out and put it inside, like one on the inside? Sometimes it works. It really depends on what you've got, okay? So these are the kind of thing, it takes a little bit of planning. It takes thinking ahead, okay? I might just, well, see, but this theme doesn't work because this is a Bethlehem theme and this is a modern house, so I don't know. If I can create a nativity scene with blue and silver, that would be great, but so for now I can't. But when you're done, the most important thing is make sure you put this in the center. Well, put it inside. Put it in the center because this is the last step, right? To make sure that your positioning is perfect before you finally glue it down, okay? So, okay, that works. That works. So I would lay it out flat when you glue because then it gives you all the give. If you fold it and glue it, it might tuck, okay? That's just the nature of paper. So you just need that little loose part so that it works. So what I do is I glue on one side first, and then make sure I can close it and not tugging it, and then glue the bottom side, all right? So you have at least one card done today, hopefully. Things like this, you have letters. If you find letters, if you have the full joyous Christmas, that's great, right? What you can do is something that is a little bit boring like this. You might want to cut out every letter and then put them back in. That's one way to do it. Okay, so yeah. Thank goodness there's no copyright on these things, but we are literally copying people's stuff. Okay, like there are tons of these out there, like the Nativity Scene. Okay. If you're very, very patient, you can take an X-Acto knife and cut around this. Again, harvesting the frame and put another picture behind it that's slightly bigger, but using this frame. So like this, these kind of cutting takes a lot of work. X-Acto knife is the way to go. You know what an X-Acto knife is, right? Don't cut yourself. Yeah. What else do I have? I don't really have that much either, because I've given away all my cards. So I'm waiting for people to give me cards this year. Some cards are so nice. This is not a Christmas card. This is a birthday card. So I definitely harvest those because it's just beautiful. It's a laser cut card. There are lots of them in the market these days. So if you find something like that, don't throw it away. You know, you can cut it down to size a little bit, and even if you can't use the cake, what you can do is, you see the border here? I can cut it off and mount it on something. It becomes a border for me for something. You know, I don't have to take the whole Christmas, the birthday cake. And look at the pattern here, right? So I can harvest this, just cut it off. And so that's a way to use an old card. I think, I actually think I'm done with repurposing old Christmas card. Oh, one more thing. Some cards, like I said, and I don't find anything in my stash anymore. Some cards, the image is so small, just tiny little thing. Oh, I do. I have this. Okay. Almost forgot to tell you. When you turn to the back of your card now, and none of you have them anymore. The back of the card, this is the logo. This card on this original size is a full-size card. And they I don't know why, they print this on the back. Well, I keep these, and if you like to mount them a little bigger, it becomes a tag, becomes a Christmas tag. Okay, so, and that same goes for Christmas card too. I mean, you might not like the whole card, but if one part of it you like, you can slice this off. I want some flowers, and it becomes a tag. So yeah, so just let your imagination go. Old cards are not, don't throw everything away. And I think I've given people stickers. Stickers, again, are always useful, but it depends on your design. So I think that's all I've got to share. Thoughts, feedback. Anybody finished a card, or at least half finished? You can show us. Get all the stuff. Oh. I remember somebody out there who has a card that is just all snowflakes. So if you have a card like that, use fussy cutting technique and lift every single of the snowflakes and then replant it on a different color paper, different design, different pattern again. Okay, so just try to, I think the whole idea is try to make as much use as you can out of an old card without just tossing it into the garbage bin. In this case, I love this picture. I always like scenes of Christmas in a house, but I will lift it off so that I can use the frame elsewhere. And I take this and put it on another frame or something. I might slice up the picture. I might crop it down into a smaller house so they make a smaller card. Okay. So yeah, again, there are different ways of using it. If the houses of this one happen to have a lot of glitter, and glitter is not good for cutting, but if it's something that is more defined, so I would adopt the idea of just like this card. Now, this is original card, okay? The designer just take the profile on the top. So we can do the same. You can cut the card down and go around just the top so that your top has a cutout shape, but the rest of it doesn't. So that's another way you learn to imitate the real artist. And then in fact, like I always said, art is never right or wrong. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? So that's it. I really not have any more things to say. Thank you.